Hi and welcome. You are tuned in to CPAP for beginners and experts. The title of the show tonight is CPAP Mouth Leaks, 7 great tips that I'm going to share with you. I'm your host, Chris, with AffinityHM.com, and here we cover product reviews, news, tips, and knowledge. Everything you need, CPAP, APAP, and BiPAP, to get the best sleep of your life. So here we go. 7 tips. It's going to be really fast, so stay with us. We're going to start actually with the seventh of the least expensive of the 7 tips. So the first one, and after we go through those tips, then I'm going to talk with you about some bonus tips regarding leaks and dry mouth. And if you want to enter the contest, just type in the comments #mouth leaks, and you'll automatically be entered into the contest. All right, here we go. Tip number 7. Switch from a nasal only to a full face mask. If your mouth is coming open when you're sleeping on CPAP, then this would be something that I would definitely recommend doing, switching from a nasal mask. So if you have nasal pillows or just the triangular nasal mask, like this one right here, that's over just your nose, then switching to a full face mask might just like that totally solve your problem. Tip number 6, make sure that it is a proper fit. So if you're using a full face mask, sometimes your mouth can actually open and drop lower than the bottom of the full face mask. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, has this ever happened to you? If that's happening, then you have the wrong size mask. So it's real important that when you're measuring for a full face mask, you're measuring from here, the lowest point here, to the lowest point here, but not necessarily with your mouth closed. Sometimes with your mouth open a little bit, if that's how you actually sleep. So that's tip number 6. Tip number 5, consider mouth tape. Somnifix is just one brand. There are many different types of mouth tape that can be used. Somnifix seems to have a pretty good product from what I've heard, but putting a little mouth tape just to keep your lips closed sometimes completely solves the problem. Number 4 is a chin strap. And I recommend this one, the KnightsBridge. This one is absolutely, by far, 30 years of setting up CPAPs. I can tell you this is the one that you want to get. Don't get any other kind of chin strap. This one is a double, or they call it a dual band chin strap. And it's absolutely, by far, the best chin strap you can have to stop those mouth leaks. Tip number 3, or the third, number 3, tongue to the roof. So what I'm talking about here is if you have a little bit of air in your mouth when you're ready to go to sleep and use that CPAP, that little bit of air turns into air pressure that just blows out your mouth, and that's no good, doesn't work. So what you can do actually before you put that CPAP on, go ahead and get all of the air out of your mouth and then sort of suction your tongue up to the roof of your mouth. Not with a ton of pressure, but just gently, just to get all of the air out of your mouth. You may have to swallow a little bit just to get it all right. Lick your lips first. Your lips are sealed. Your tongue is to the roof of your mouth. And then when your jaw relaxes, actually, it's far less likely to actually open all the way up and allow that air to come out. We're already on number 2, level neck position. I worked at a hospital in an ER, and always when if someone needed to be intubated, which is, when we put the tube into the throat to actually breathe for the person doing the intubating would go to the head of the bed and pull the patient's neck in this position like this, so that you had a straight line shot down the throat. You actually could visually see that. So the point that I'm trying to make is that the air path is the most open when your neck is all the way back. However, now here's the problem. When your neck is all the way back, you have a far more likely chance of your jaw falling open. Now, if you have your head all the way down when you're sleeping like this, then the problem is a lot more air tends to get into the esophagus, the stomach. And if you've had the aerophagia with gas, and it's just terrible. So what I would like to see you do if you're having mouth leaks is to make sure you're right in the middle, in the sweet spot. Neither this nor this, but right in the middle is absolutely the best to slow down and possibly even get rid of those mouth leaks altogether. And then number one, sleep on your side, not your back. Thought I wrote that wrong there for a second. But yeah, make sure that you sleep on your side if at all possible. There are some people that absolutely just have to sleep on the back, but sleeping on your side not only is actually healthier for your heart to sleep on your left side, but also you're taking away the force of gravity pulling that chin down, and that can make a huge difference. So if you haven't already done it, type into comments #mouth leaks, and you are going to be automatically entered into the contest. And so now I want to just get into some bonus tips here. Mouth leaks actually can cause dry mouth, and the reason is, think of CPAP and airflow. They're two different things. CPAP is continuous positive airway pressure, and airflow is airflow. So the pressure and the flow are two completely different things. So dry mouth happens when the flow is too high. So your machine, let's say it's set at a pressure of 12. And once your mouth comes open a little even, then the machine, the pressure is going to drop because of your mouth being open. So the machine is going to actually try to achieve that pressure of 12. And the only way that it can do that is to generate more flow. So when you're having a small leak, then automatically the machine is increasing the flow so that it can increase the pressure. So therefore, leaks in your CPAP system anywhere are likely to cause dry mouth. So since we were talking about mouth leaks, I thought it'd be good to go ahead and talk about dry mouth as well. Here's a few good tips for you. Xylem Melts. This is a over-the-counter product that you can put into your mouth, and it actually, I've seen so many times, especially on our CPAP group over on Facebook called CPAP for Beginners. Many people are helped with Xylem Melts. Testify in comments if you tried that and it helped you. Also, hydrate. There are a few things that's important. One, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, of course. The more hydrated your full body is, the less likely your mouth is to go dry on you. Also, maybe keep a glass of water next to the bed. You can, if you get up for the restroom, take a few sips and just keep yourself hydrated. And then lastly, increase the humidity. It's not really going to increase the temperature, or you won't really notice much of a temperature increase to increase the humidity level. But what you will notice is that the dry mouth is less. However, all of these other tips that we went over in the beginning are actually way more important than that. So I've got a few more tips for you, bonus leak tips. Remember, type in comments #mouth leaks, and you'll be entered in the contest. No spaces or anything like that. So I know a lot of you men out here, you're not going to like this one, but if you are having some problems with leaks, then sometimes it's time to shave the mustache or the beard. It's not always absolutely necessary, because if you do have a thick mustache, thick beard, you can use nasal pillows perhaps. And I have actually seen some men who were able to use the full face mask with the beard. Perhaps thinning it out can make a difference. If you can thin it out so that you can get a good seal. Additionally, the amount of pressure that's been prescribed to you might also be a factor. But that is one potential solution, is just let that go. Also, a dirty mask tends to be a leaky mask. The oils from our skin, it's so important that that is washed off of that mask on a regular basis. So just CPAP wipes or soapy water in the sink, but clean that mask every single day, because if there's oil on the mask, then it just doesn't want to seal. And then finally, a new mask sometimes is the absolute only solution. If you've had a mask for a long time, you know it's recommended to change that mask out very regularly. But if you have an old mask, it's going to be oxidized and hardened, and it's really hard to get a seal with an old mask. So if you've cleaned it, you've tried all these other tips, and still it's just not sealing up for you, then perhaps it's time to just go ahead and get onto a new mask altogether. So actually, before we do Q&A, I wanted to, for those of you who aren't really familiar with what is a mouth leak, I wanted to actually demonstrate that. So I have here with me my little CPAP machine. Got my little CPAP machine right here, all set and ready to go. So I'm literally about to demonstrate a mouth leak and what it feels like. The most common mouth leak is when one is using this type of mask right here, just a nasal mask over your nose. But again, like I said earlier, a mouth leak also can be with a full face mask. If your mouth is dropping open below the level of that full face mask, then obviously you're gonna have a mouth leak and probably a lot of dry mouth. This particular mask just has little hooks, and so I've got it all in place here. The machine is set to do a test for a pressure of 14. It's a leak test that one would do right here in the beginning. Let's see, it's called the mask fit test. So obviously, for those of you who use CPAP, you're going to know I'm not going to be able to talk here, but I'm just going to show you. What I'm going to do is start the machine up, let the pressure come into the mask. I'm going to just try to relax with it, and then I'm going to allow my mouth to come open, and you're going to see what happens when one has a mouth leak. So let's go ahead and fire this up. I don't know if you can see that, but it says mask fit. This only lasts just a few seconds, so let's see what happens. Here we go. All right. Now, what just happened is with the CPAP going and my mouth closed, all of that air pressure, continuous positive airway pressure, is right here in my airway, keeping my airway open so that whenever I fall into deep, deep sleep and my airway just totally relaxes, the airway will stay open via that CPAP pressure, which I also like to call an internal splint, an internal pressure splint. But at the moment that the mouth comes open, which does happen for some people in the deep sleep, then all of that pressure just goes right in your nose, right out your mouth. There is no pressure here. So that would actually allow, if you slept through that, that mouth being open would allow the same apneas to occur that would even without the CPAP machine in place. So there is what it looks like to actually have a mouth leak. Tell me, guys, in comments what you think about that. All right. So now let's go ahead and move over here to Q&A. I hope you have already entered into the contest. Put in there hashtag mouth leaks with no spaces. I see we have Belty Cat here. Hey, Belty. By the way, Belty Cat, Belty asked a question last week about Remedy, R-E-M-E-D-E. And since then, I wasn't really familiar with it. So I did a little bit of research. It's just very surface level research, but I'm sure you guys might be interested. What Remedy is it's a device, an implantable device that can potentially, and it's just FDA approved months ago, help people with central sleep apnea. And if you're not sure, obstructive sleep apnea is what we've been talking about so far here, where the airway collapses and literally there is a physical obstruction in the airway. The CPAP keeps it open so that you can sleep well. But the other type of apnea is central sleep apnea, where the brainstem actually is not sending the right signal to the diaphragm muscle, because your diaphragm muscle has to activate in order for breaths to happen. So a central apnea is where we're missing some of the breaths. And this Remedy device is an implantable device that actually has sensors and triggers that would help one with central sleep apnea. It can be programmed so that if you're having apneas, then it actually is going to trigger the diaphragm to breathe. So it seems like a very promising idea, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. All right, so I see we have Cornelius Davis. Welcome, Cornelius. We have Candace here with us. Candace says that the Xylamelts and Somnifix tape are both very helpful. Absolutely. Cheryl Kazoob is here. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome to the show. And Amy Martin is here. Loretta, hello, you guys. Okay, we got a lot of people here. Okay, Belty Cat. Belty Cat, hi Chris. Can you comment on CPAP or BiPAP use causing CSA, central sleep apnea events in some patients? The actual use of CPAP and BiPAP causing the central apnea events. I have heard that. That one is a little bit above my pay grade. So that is definitely a question for your doctor because there are different factors involved in a CPAP or BiPAP causing a central apnea. So I have to pass on that one, Belty Cat. Candace Nagel, can you comment on aerophagia with a full face mask, but mouth leaks with a nasal mask? What might be the solution? Okay, first of all, let's talk about full face mask and aerophagia. I touched on it just a little bit, Candace. Aerophagia, for those of you who don't know, it is when air is getting into your stomach. That's all it is. Now, obviously, you have CPAP coming in, so there's a more likelihood possibility of that air getting into your stomach. And the result of it is a lot of pain. It can be very painful in your stomach, a lot of gas, and it can be very difficult to deal with. Everyone who uses CPAP does not experience aerophagia, but some do. So the solutions for the aerophagia, and again, we did talk about it a little bit. If your neck, when you're sleeping, is down like this, then the air has a better chance of actually getting into your esophagus. So really neck position is something that can make a difference with aerophagia. Some people use a soft collar. You've seen these almost like after a car crash, people who have the neck problems, they put these collars on. So a soft collar actually keeps your neck in a straight position. And some people have used those while sleeping with CPAP and received really good results from doing that. Now, the other part of your question, I'm not sure if I understand a full face mask, but mouth leaks with a nasal mask. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're using a full face, but it's also tending to be a problem with aerophagia due to that. Okay, I understand. Probably the soft collar, or if you can just with your pillow and just with your sleep position, make some adaptations and changes so that you have that level neck position while you're sleeping. I would try that first and see where we go with that. And then this is my beautiful bride here, you guys, Sonia. Let me tell you a little story. Tonight, we were walking. My wife and I walk in the park, and we got about halfway in our walk. We walk about 1.5 miles. And by the way, that's a wonderful thing to do. I suggest it for everyone. We were just walking and enjoying the park and the weather, of which we haven't had a lot of great weather lately, but tonight it was really, really nice. And then it occurred to us that we might have left a pot on the stove burning on fire. So both of us immediately turned and the walk turned into a run. So we were running back to the house, only to find that actually we had turned it off in the first place. So everything was all good. But hi, hon. Thanks for being here. All right, Belty Cat. Belty Cat, can you also comment on opioid use causing CSA? Does CSA events stop when opioid use ends? I don't know the answer to that one either, Belty Cat. I'm sorry. Okay, Belty Cat. When did you first begin treating patients with ASV for CSA? Do you find that ASV is a successful treatment for CSA? Yeah, actually, ASV. Okay, what is ASV? ASV is not CPAP. It's not APAP. It's not BiPAP. It's sort of BiPAP along with another setting, and that setting would be BiPAP is, one pressure when you breathe in and another pressure when you breathe out. So that's BiPAP. But with this machine, it actually also has a backup rate setting. For example, we might set it at 12. And for someone who has central sleep apnea, in other words, your brain is just not triggering all of those breaths. Let's say your brain is only triggering 6 breaths per minute at some point through the night. Well, if the machine's set at 12, the machine is going to catch those other 6. So it's going to actually give you 6 additional breaths through that period, through that minute. So that is what a CSB does. As far as when did we first start using those, it's not been a terribly long time. I'd say 7 to 8 to 10 years ago is whenever we first started actually using those. All right, let's see. Okay, we already got that one. And All right, so that is all of the questions that I see. What is a good mask? Amy Martin. Hi, Amy. What is a good mask for a nose breather and a side sleeper? I always recommend, if you can breathe through your nose, I love the nasal pillows. The nasal pillows are the lightest and easiest. I don't have any with me right here, but nasal pillows just insert just barely into your nose. They seal right around the outside edge of the nose, but the headgear is lighter. There's just less to it. So the less is better as far as I'm concerned. Plus, the sleeping on the side is going to be really nice and comfortable with nasal pillows. Any brand of nasal pillows is good. Uh, I would say P30i is probably my favorite, partly because it has the hose attachment up at your head so that you can run that hose like over the headboard, just kind of out of the way. That's always really nice. And hose lift. I love hose lifts also. All right. Good question. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate that. All right. And so that is really all of the questions that I have at the moment. I hope you guys have been entering the contest. By the way, if you enjoy getting the knowledge and learning more about CPAP, we do have now a program. It's called CPAP Academy for beginners. It's a 7-day online course that's available on our website, AffinityHM.com. And if you want to learn more, basically, it would be as if I were doing a CPAP setup for you. It's roughly an hour and a half worth of videos over 7 days with 7 tests that you can take directly from the videos. And it will give you some knowledge, a really good base of knowledge, and a few really good tips in there as well. So something to consider. Check it out over on AffinityHM.com if you're interested. All right. Well, what I want to do now is share this screen. Let's see how you do that. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to do the giveaway. Somebody is going to win a gift card to AffinityHM.com. All right, here we go. Let me make sure you guys can see that. And yes, you can see it. Actually, I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it really well. We got a lot of people in the contest tonight. All right. So let's see. 10 people in the contest. Who is going to win the gift card? Here we go. Watch your screen. It could be you. The winner of the Affinity HM gift card is Cheryl Kazoob. Cheryl Kazoob watching us over on Facebook. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate it very much. Thank you for being here. Now, Cheryl, what you're going to want to do is shoot us a message either to the Facebook page, to the group, or to myself. And all that I need is your email address. If you would just shoot your email address over, and then tomorrow morning, I will send back to your email a gift card that you can use on AffinityHM.com. So awesome. Really appreciate it again, you guys. Thanks for being here. Please do consider this course. If you haven't already, take a look at CPAP for beginners. It is a 7-day online course. And by the way, let me give you a discount code too. I have a discount code for 15% off. It's GIVEME15, GIVEME15. Use that. You get 15% off. That's just for you. Thanks for being here tonight. All right, you guys. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful evening. Congratulations again to Cheryl. Thanks for being here. And I will see you guys next Thursday night. Y'all have a